These are the 7 levels of the strongest NFL players in history, from players who could barely bench press 1 rep, all the way to the strongest players who could bench press the equivalent of a grizzly bear. But first, we'll start with level 1.
Level 1. Weak.
Now, obviously these are NFL athletes, so they're not weak, but in comparison to other NFL players, they absolutely are. Starting with Fred Smoot. Fred Smoot holds the record for the worst bench press in NFL Combine history, managing only 1 rep of 225 pounds, making him the weakest athlete there. He's set at 5'11", 174 pounds, but despite being the weakest player at the Combine, Smoot actually had a successful 9-year NFL career as a cornerback, playing 129 games with 21 career interceptions and even scoring a touchdown, proving that for defensive back, ball skills and speed matter way more than just raw strength. Tyrann Mathieu's weak play style, but someone who wasn't tenacious was Donnell Pumphrey. Donnell Pumphrey's weakness became historically embarrassing at the 2017 NFL Combine when he only managed 5 reps on the bench press at 225 pounds, ranking in the 0th percentile among all halfbacks. At just 5'8" and 176 pounds, Pumphrey was already undersized for an NFL running back, but his pathetic bench press showing revealed he lacked the functional strength needed to break tackles or push through contact at the professional level. Despite being drafted 132nd overall by Philadelphia in the 4th round, he never played a single regular season snap and was quickly cut from the team. Lastly, we have the infamous Tom Brady. Tom Brady's lack of overwhelming upper body strength became a running joke throughout his legendary NFL career. As a 7-time Super Bowl champion, was notorious for his inability to bench press significant weight despite being one of the greatest quarterbacks in history. According to multiple sources, Brady couldn't bench press 300 pounds throughout his entire professional career, which was considered well below average for somebody like him. Brady's weakness never hindered his NFL success whatsoever, obviously, becoming the GOAT, but his lack of superb strength was completely irrelevant for him. Interestingly enough, at age 47 and well into retirement, Brady finally achieved a personal milestone by bench pressing 245 pounds for the first time in 18 years. These were the weakest players.
Level 2. Still weak.
Those above are slightly stronger, but not by much. First up in this level, we have Orlando Brown. Orlando Brown's weakness was exposed at the 2018 NFL Combine when he put up 14 reps on the bench press at 225 pounds, finishing dead last amongst all offensive linemen in what many considered one of the worst Combine performances of all time. At 6'8" and 345 pounds, Brown had the massive frame that should have translated to incredible strength, but it didn't. Brown's Combine weakness caused him to fall to the 3rd round to Baltimore, but he overcame his poor testing numbers to become a successful NFL tackle with 4 Pro Bowl selections and a Super Bowl championship. His on-field strength and technique proved far more important than his bench press numbers, though he does still get moved around a little too much for anybody's liking. You have another offensive lineman here in Demetrius Bell. Demetrius Bell's weakness became legendary at the 2008 NFL Combine when he managed only 9 reps on the bench press at 225 pounds, which was considered embarrassingly low for an offensive lineman, ranked among the worst performances ever recorded for his position. At 6'5" and 303 pounds, Bell had the size and frame that should have translated to significant upper body strength, but his bench press showing revealed he just wasn't ready to play NFL football against grown men. Bell's weakness caused him to fall to the 7th round, Buffalo, but surprisingly, he overcame his terrible Combine showing to become a serviceable NFL starter for a few seasons. Someone who chose not to even do the bench press at the Combine because of how potentially embarrassing it could have been was Mac Jones. Mac Jones' weak arm has been talked about constantly since he's gotten into the league. It's evident once things get a bit too cold, he starts underthrowing the ball left and right. The Ringer ranked his arm talent dead last among all 32 starting NFL quarterbacks a few years ago, noting that he was still hit accurate throws as long as they weren't too far down the field or required too much heat. He struggled significantly with passes outside the numbers, and he had a long way to go before we could consider his NFL arm even starter level. That still hasn't kept him from being in the league though. He's bounced around a bit, but he's been excellent for the 49ers this season.
Level 3. Average.
Next up in level 3, we have some players who are at least average. One of my favorite players ever was Deshaun Jackson. D-Jax's weakness was evident from his physical measurements, standing at just 5'10" and weighing only 169 pounds at the NFL Combine, putting him in the 2nd percentile for weight amongst wide receivers, making him one of the smallest and most physically frail players at his position in league history. The combination of his slight build and inability to play through contact really limited his effectiveness in certain areas of the field, particularly over the middle where stronger receivers could thrive. But his average build never prevented him from having an outstanding 15-year NFL NFL career, he accumulated over 11,000 receiving yards and 58 touchdowns by using his elite speed to become one of the most dangerous deep threats in league history. His lack of dominant strength was completely irrelevant for his role in the NFL, and same goes with one of the greatest kickers of all time. Here we have Adam Vinatieri. Vinatieri represents the epitome of a solid NFL strength for his position. Standing at 6 foot and 212 pounds throughout his legendary 24-year career, that gave him the perfect build for a kicker without being overly bulky. Vinatieri's strength wasn't just about raw power or intimidating physical presence like other positions, but rather having the functional strength and core stability needed to consistently deliver accurate kicks under the most intense pressure situations imaginable. His perfect proportions and core strength allowed him to maintain consistent mechanics under pressure, resulting in 599 career field goals, 4 Super Bowl championships, and legendary game-winning kicks that defined multiple championship runs. He's gotten jacked since he retired, but we're going off of how people looked when they were playing. And honestly, how Tua looks when he's been playing has been rough these past few seasons. Tua Tagovailoa stands at 6'1", 217 pounds, and it provides an adequate functional power for the QB position, while his accurate passing ability has allowed him to succeed despite his arm strength limitations. Tua is slightly stronger than Mac Jones because while both quarterbacks have arm strength concerns, Tua has demonstrated better velocity on his throws. His solid arm has been sufficient enough in Miami's offense, where quick releases and precise timing route maximizes his strength. He can throw the deep ball, as we've seen with Tyreek Hill, leading to his best season as a pro, but that's up until November.
Level 4, strong.
Next up, we have some actually strong players. To kick off this group, we have Beast Mode. Marshawn Lynch's nickname is Beast Mode for a reason, as his 5'11", 215-pound frame was perfectly built for punishing defenders and breaking tackles, demonstrating how strong he was and how physical of a running style he had. Chris Carson's strength was perfectly demonstrated through his 6 foot, 218-pound frame that allowed him to become one of the most physical running backs in the NFL, despite being drafted in the 7th round. Carson's combine measurements showed he was built for power, with this 97th percentile arm length, 96th percentile broad jump, and while doing 23 reps on the bench press. He became the centerpiece of Seattle's rushing attack for 4 seasons, as his ability to break tackles and power through contact helped him average over 1,000 yards per season when healthy. While his 31 touchdowns and reliable hands out of the backfield made him one of the most complete backs in the NFL before injuries cut his career short. Patrick Mahomes' strength is evident through his 6'3", 230-pound frame that provides a perfect foundation for his elite arm talent and mobility, allowing him to make throws from impossible angles while absorbing contact in the pocket. His strength has been enhanced through rigorous training, focusing on pattern stability, force absorption, and force transmission through medicine ball exercises, trap bar deadlifts, and explosive movements. That allows him to generate incredible arm velocity while maintaining accuracy. That's shown through the sidearm, the underhands, and the no-look passes that require exceptional core strength and body control throughout his championship-winning career. Even though he's not chiseled, he sure is a load to take down. Someone who is chiseled is Amon-Ra St. Brown to round out this crew. Amon-Ra St. Brown's strength goes far beyond his 6 foot, 202-pound frame. As a Detroit Lions receiver, has a relentless training regimen and old-school approach to building functional strength. St. Brown's strength development was shaped by his father, John Brown, a former Mr. Universe and Mr. World winner, who put him through grueling bodybuilding style workouts from age 5, including high rep sets of squats, bench presses, and bicep curls that most NFL players would consider torture. His legendary work ethic includes catching exactly 202 balls from the jug machine every practice since middle school. St. Brown's relentless training have made him one of the most reliable receivers in the NFL. While having over 430 catches and ability to consistently produce in traffic, he's earned 3 Pro Bowl selections, multiple All-Pros, and a reputation as one of the most physically dominant slot receivers in football.
Level 5, super strong.
Now in level 5, we're starting to get to some super strong players. Someone who's been underrated their entire career is Danielle Hunter, and that's no different here. Danielle Hunter's strength is perfectly demonstrated through his 6'5", 263-pound frame. It has made him one of the most consistently dominant pass rushers in the NFL over his 10-year career. His strength was evident from his rookie season in 2015 when he was drafted 88th overall by the Minnesota Vikings out of LSU. His build has made him one of the most feared pass rushers in the NFL for a decade, as his 103.5 career sacks, 5 Pro Bowl selections, and consistent double-digit sack seasons demonstrates just how strong he really is. He uses his power and quickness to get to the QB, and the same went for Ndamukong Suh. Ndamukong Suh's strength was legendary throughout his 13-year NFL career. He stood at 6'4", 313 pounds, and was one of the most physically dominant defensive tackles in the league for a time. His dominance wasn't just about his massive size, but that definitely helped. He totaled a career of 71.5 sacks, 600 combined tackles, and 392 solo tackles over 199 games. What made him so impressive was his ability to maintain his power and effectiveness across multiple teams and systems, earning 5 Pro Bowl selections, multiple All-Pro honors, while playing for Detroit, Miami, LA, Tampa, and Philly throughout his career. Someone else who showed his toughness throughout their career is Big Ben. Ben Roethlisberger's strength was legendary. Ben Roethlisberger find a guy right past the first down mark. Roethlisberger's strong build made him one of the most unique and effective quarterbacks in NFL history, resulting in 2 Super Bowl championships, 6 Pro Bowl selections, over 64,000 passing yards, and a Hall of Fame caliber career. But if you think Big Ben was physically dominant, it's nothing compared to A.J. Brown. A.J. Brown has a rigorous training regimen that includes catching 500 tennis balls daily, trap bar jumps for explosiveness, and resistance band work to simulate game contact while building functional power. Brown's strength allows him to consistently win contested catches and break tackles after reception, evidenced by having over 7,400 career receiving yards and ability to dominate physical coverage, translating to 3 Pro Bowl selections, multiple All-Pros, and a Super Bowl championship while establishing himself as one of the most physically dominant receivers in football. This group so far has been insane, but somehow in the next group, they get even crazier.
Level 6. Historically strong.
These guys are stuff of legend, starting with Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts' ability at 6'1", 223 pounds to produce some of the most incredible feats of power in NFL history is absolutely insane. Hurts' body was forged during his high school days when he was a member of his powerlifting team, developing the foundation for what will become viral-worthy strength that has made his teammates and fans throughout his entire career. His strength goes far beyond typical QB standards, as evidenced by his ability to squat an incredible 600 pounds during his final season at Oklahoma. And that 600-pound strength isn't just for show. It directly translates to his 60 career rushing touchdowns and the Eagles' dominant tush-push play, while his overall physical dominance helped lead Philadelphia to a Super Bowl championship and earn him Super Bowl MVP honors in 2024. Another absolute freak was Adrian Peterson. All-day strength was unreal. He stood at 6'1", 217 pounds and was built by the Greek gods. It was evident even back in Oklahoma, where his combination of power, speed, and agility made him a consensus All-American and the 7th overall pick in the 2007 NFL Draft, immediately establishing himself as a generational talent. He would go on to rush for over 14,900 yards, 120 touchdowns, in his legendary 2012 MVP season, where he rushed for just under 2,100 yards, 9 yards short of Eric Dickerson's single season record on 31 fewer attempts after tearing his ACL. His legendary workouts are still talked about today. Someone who broke the internet when they came on the scene was DK Metcalf. DK Metcalf's strength was insane. DK Metcalf at 6'3", 228 pounds produced some of the most incredible combine numbers in NFL history, making him one of the strongest and most physically gifted wide receivers ever to play this game. Metcalf's historically strong build was forged through years of intense training that began when he was just 5 years old, when he could already bench press 50 pounds and squat 100 pounds under the guidance of his father Terrence, a former NFL offensive lineman who understood the importance of building functional strength from an early age. His strength goes far beyond typical wide receiver numbers, as demonstrated by his legendary 2019 NFL Combine performance, where he bench pressed 225 pounds an incredible 27 times. This has allowed him to dominate throughout his NFL career as well, receiving over 6,700 yards, 53 touchdowns, and having legendary athleticism be demonstrated out on the field every single Sunday. He's become one of the most feared deep threats in the modern NFL. Another player who's feared is Derrick Henry. Derrick Henry stands at 6'3", 247 pounds, and has become one of the most physically dominant running backs in NFL history, combining incredible size with devastating power that has terrorized defenders for over a decade. He runs up hills, he runs through people, while also stiff-arming them, and he's been doing that since high school. Rushing for over 12,000 career yards, 112 touchdowns, 64 career stiff arms, and a legendary 2020 MVP caliber season where he won Offensive Player of the Year, rushing for over 2,000 yards in that season. He's been one of the hardest players to take down, and nobody wants to tackle Derrick Henry when he's out in the open field. Someone who unfortunately flamed out in the NFL was Tim Tebow. Tim Tebow stood at 6'2", 236 pounds, and was built by literally God, making him one of the strongest players in the NFL to ever play the position despite his unconventional throwing mechanic. He could bench press 450 pounds and recorded a 38-inch vertical leap that's even elite for some NBA players. His legendary weight room workout feats translated to over 989 career rushing yards, 12 rushing touchdowns, and an 8-6 record as a starter, including some very memorable playoff games. But then that was really it. His strength couldn't overcome his traditional QB limitations, but a player that wasn't limited at all was J.J. Watt. JJ Watt stood at 6'5", 288 pounds, and had one of the most incredible training regimens that included 62-inch box jumps, 500-pound bench presses, 700-pound back squats, and 400-pound power cleans for multiple reps. He started his journey in Wisconsin, where he trained since age 15 under Brad Arnett, developing from a 205-pound high school sophomore into a 290-pound NFL superstar. His strength allowed him to dominate games through sheer physical force, recording 114.5 career sacks while playing multiple positions and even catching touchdown passes, demonstrating unprecedented versatility for a defensive lineman of his size. All that led to 3 Defensive Player of the Year awards, 5 Pro Bowl selections, the ability to line up anywhere on the defense, and a call to Canton soon. Another man on his way to Canton is Myles Garrett. Myles Garrett's strength is out of this world. Standing at 6'4", 272 pounds, he's been dominant. Garrett's potential was evident from his draft day in 2017 when he was selected first overall by the Cleveland Browns, immediately establishing himself as a generational pass rusher. His size has made him one of the most feared pass rushers in NFL history, with 112.5 career sacks, 6 Pro Bowl selections, multiple All-Pro honors, a 2023 Defensive Player of the Year award, and on a record-breaking sack pace, demonstrates how incredible his strength and athleticism has translated to his NFL success. He's become one of the most premier defensive players of this generation. There are way too many strong people to really mention and get a section on their own, so I'll give you guys some quick hitters. Andrew Billings, during his senior year at Waco High School, shattered the Texas high school powerlifting record previously held by strength legend Mark Henry, posting an incredible 210-pound total that included 805-pound squat, 500-pound bench press, and a 705-pound deadlift. Terry Long was also insane. He broke a powerlifting record of an incredible 2,203 pounds in a competition, a total that only 2 people in history had ever exceeded at the time. His strength goes far beyond what most players in the NFL have ever done, including an 837-pound squat, 501-pound bench press, 865-pound deadlift. Numbers that would be impressive for dedicated powerlifters who don't have to worry about playing professional football. And we can't forget about Isaac Sapoga. Isaac Sapoga's strength is crazy. His 2004 NFL Combine performance, where he weighed in at 317 pounds and put up an incredible 42 reps on the bench press at 225 pounds, was something we just don't see every day. Some honorable mentions include Anquan Bolden, Saquon, Jonathan Ogden, LT, Cam Newton, Eric Howard, Mike Webster, Randy White, and Cam Chancellor. Now I know that doesn't do them all justice, but I figured I'd rather include them than not, because lastly, we have the strongest of the strong.
Level 7, the strongest.
These are the strongest players ever. Reggie White, Aaron Donald, Larry Allen, Vernon Davis, James Harrison, Stephen Pea, Chris Snee, and Bob Young. Starting with Reggie White. Reggie White's strength is stuff of legend. Defensive Rookie of the Year honors, of course. He finished with 13 Pro Bowls, over 8 All-Pro honors, 2 Defensive Player of the Year awards, a Super Bowl champion. Knew about Vernon Davis's crazy build from college. During his freshman year at Maryland, he broke 6 different school lifting records and then proceeded to break his own records again and again for both his sophomore and junior year. Just hilarious. Of course, we have his legendary 2006 NFL Combine performance, where he ran a 4.38 40-yard dash, recorded a 42-inch vertical jump, achieved a 128-inch broad jump, and bench pressed an incredible 225 pounds at 33 times. He had a very solid NFL career, making a few Pro Bowls and winning a Super Bowl, showing that strength definitely translated to the NFL. Bob Young was a freak. His 800-pound deadlift, 550-pound squat for 22 reps, finishing second place in the 1977 World Man's Strongest competition, and 16 season career with 194 games played, really demonstrates how his incredible powerlifting credentials and world-class strength translated to sustained excellence on the field. He's one of the strongest humans we'll ever see. Same goes with Stephen Pea. At 6'1" and 300 pounds, he produced one of the most incredible feats of power in NFL history when he set the all-time NFL Combine bench press record with 49 reps at 225 pounds in 2011. That strength was translated into a 7-year NFL career with 83 games played, 14 sacks, and 129 combined tackles. He was able to play for multiple teams: Chicago, Washington, Cleveland, and Dallas in that time. Someone who also played for multiple teams but nobody talks about it is James Harrison. But we all know who James Harrison is. He stood at 6 foot, 240 pounds, but he's one of the strongest people to ever touch earth, combining unprecedented work ethic with viral-worthy feats that amazed teammates and fans throughout his entire 15-year career. Harrison's historically unmatched strength was evident during his legendary 2017 workout video at age 39, where he performed an incredible feat including 675-pound hip thrusts, 315-pound hang cleans, 315-pound reverse lunges, 405-pound decline presses, and 225-pound overhead tricep extensions, all for multiple reps while maintaining perfect form. He had a Hall of Fame caliber career with 84.5 sacks, 5 Pro Bowl selections, multiple All-Pro honors, 2 Super Bowl championships, and the 2008 Defensive Defensive Player of the Year award. Proving his incredible power was the foundation for his sustained success. Someone who had a very solid 10-year career was Chris Nee as well, who was absolutely a freak. At 6'3", 310 pounds, he became one of the strongest offensive linemen we've ever seen, earning him recognition as the NFL's strongest man on the cover of Powerlifting USA magazine in 2010. But he got on that cover for a reason. He was able to hit 425-pound seated barbell front presses, 515-pound incline presses for reps, and squatting over 600 pounds for 3 to 5 reps. Numbers that would be impressive for dedicated powerlifters, one of the strongest we'll ever see. Nee's historically unmatched strength translated to a dominant 10-year career with 141 games started, 4 Pro Bowl selections, multiple Super Bowl championships, proving that those 600-pound squats wasn't for nothing. The same would go for Aaron Donald. We know about Aaron Donald's diet and his work ethic. At 6'1", 280 pounds, he was built from something not of this world. His workouts have become stuff of legend, showing off just how much he can actually deadlift and bench press every single day. His strength was unmatched throughout his legendary 10-year career with the LA Rams, where he accumulated 111 sacks, 543 combined tackles, and 340 solo tackles while earning 3 Defensive Player of the Year awards, tied for the most in NFL history. He became a pillar for the LA Rams and was one of the most dominant forces we'll ever see. And the same goes lastly with Larry Allen, the man who could bench press the equivalent of a grizzly bear. Larry Allen's strength, I think we all know about. Standing at 6'3", 335 pounds, he was just built different. He had unprecedented power with elite athleticism, which made him one of the scariest players in NFL history. He was able to bench press over 700 pounds, which is the same size as a male grizzly bear. His incredible 2006 performance in the NFL's strongest competition, where he destroyed the field with 43 bench press reps at 225 pounds, completely obliterating his competition, showcased the kind of endurance and power that had really never been seen before. His historically unmatched strength translated to one of the greatest offensive line careers in NFL history, with 11 Pro Bowl selections, 6 All-Pro honors, a Super Bowl championship, and a Hall of Fame induction in 2013, proving that his 700-plus pound bench press and 43-rep Pro Bowl performance were the foundation for his sustained dominance that made him one of the most feared linemen of his generation. And so there you have it, the 7 levels of the strongest NFL players. Subscribe if you're new, and thanks for watching.